I knew that it was going to tarnish, I would not have purchased this. I thought that this was a luxury store. I thought that they had better customer service, better exceptional pieces that they made, and I thought that they stand behind their pieces.
This is not one of those which one of these is fake videos. These are both real, but as you can tell, they're not the same color.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of Why Does Everything Suck Now? And today we are once again highlighting that having money does not make you immune to corporate thievery. So what's going on? Well, there's a situation with Van Cleef and Arpels, a big name jewelry brand. A situation where this TikToker, Monica, bought a Van Cleef Alhambra necklace for $6,000, which tarnished not 2 months after she left the store. And this led to a flurry of questions from the public at large. 1. Is her necklace even real? 2. Is it gold plated instead of genuine 18 karat gold? And 3. Why doesn't Van Cleef just replace the necklace? And if you're thinking, hey Mark, I have literally no idea what you're talking about, and also I can't afford eggs, so how is this really my problem? Well, I'm sorry to hear that, first of all. But secondly, you gotta let loose a little bit, okay? If you're in the Van Cleef tax bracket, then have a seat, because I'm about to explain why you should probably spend your money elsewhere. And if you're in the TJ Maxx Van Cleef dupe tax bracket, then just have fun as we explore the misfortune of a rich person being scammed by other rich people. I mean, live a little, guys, alright? It's the rich stealing from the rich. You could even call them Van Thief and Arpels. But look, you're not here for my shitty jokes. Or maybe you are, but either way, what's going on here? Well, if you don't know, Van Cleef is a highly regarded luxury jewelry house founded in 1896 by Alfred Van Cleef and Solomon Arpels in Paris. Hence the name Van Cleef and Arpels. Stay with me now, folks. They've got 155 stores worldwide. They're in every major city. They're in major department stores and malls. And in 1999, they were acquired by Richemont, who owns a bunch of different luxury brands, most notably in the jewelry sector, Cartier, Van Cleef, and Buccellati. In 2023, of Richemont's $20 billion in revenue, those three brands alone made up $13.4 billion, which, holy shit, that's a lot of Van Cleef and Cartier love bracelets. And trust me, we're gonna get to the concept of trendy jewelry in just a second here. But yeah, the iconic Van Cleef collection is the Alhambra collection. It's that 4-leaf clover design. You've probably seen it just about everywhere. It was introduced in 1968, and in the last, I don't know, couple of years, you've probably seen it on literally everybody. On influencers the world over, on the royal family, on rappers, on Drake. Everyone is going out and getting this bracelet. Even Ashton Hall had one of these bracelets. Ashton Hall of Morning Routine fame. And side note, but I appreciate the men who wear this jewelry because gender jewelry has always been a very strange concept to me. I understand wrist size and all that, but like, why is a watch the only acceptable accessory for a man?
It's even worse if it's a necklace, if a man is wearing a necklace. Oh my god. Me personally, I think the only accessory a man should wear is like a nice watch.
And for those saying, oh, men used to go to war and now they're wearing bracelets from Van Cleef, we're still at war. It's a war to decide who has the most aura in this cheesecake factory. And if TikTok is to be believed, this Alhambra bracelet is an instant plus 5,000 aura. And take a look at this. Here's the Google Trend data from the last 20 years showing how the Cartier love bracelet slowly started taking off over the last decade or so, you know, really coming into vogue again with social media. But then Van Cleef just skyrockets in 2023, catching right up. Crazy the power of being influenced. And again, Richemont doesn't care. I mean, they own both brands. Whichever way you go, same guy gets the money. And if you take a look around IG or TikTok, there's a lot of people who are saying, yeah, Cartier love bracelet is out, Van Cleef is in. And for a lot of people who are looking to light $5,000 on fire for a bracelet, it's really a toss-up between the two. And yeah, on the low end for an Alhambra piece, you're looking at about $1,400. Ultra high end, you can get higher than $175,000. But the one most people want when they think about an Alhambra piece is this 5-motif bracelet, which is around $5,000, but obviously goes higher depending on what metal and stone you get. And there's definitely a collectability aspect at play here too. It's like Pokemon cards for people who have a lot of money because of all the different stone and color variations on offer. If you have way too much disposable income, you can get a collection going, start stacking different bracelets of different colors. Or maybe you don't have the disposable income, but you don't have brain cells either, because of course Van Cleef offers a firm for a bracelet, just $408 a month, which is a car payment for a bracelet that either won't be in trend in a year or won't even last a year. And that's another thing, which is that there are not known quality issues per se, but durability concerns for sure with these pieces, specifically with the stones that are on the softer side.
Alhambra bracelet with the malachite stones, And these stones in particular are the worst ones to maintain. So I bought this like 4 months ago for my birthday. And as you can see, there's like white little stains in the middle of some of these stones.
Soft stones, no matter where you get them from, are going to scratch and wear easily. Stones like malachite, which is one of the most popular Alhambra variations. And holy shit, did I never think that my Geology 101 Rocks for Jocks class would come in handy, but here we go. Because on the Mohs hardness scale, malachite is between a 3 and a 4. For comparison, literally just dust has a Mohs hardness of 7. Glass has a hardness of 5.5. So really just wearing this thing outside on a windy day, and it could get damaged. And so the internet is filled with examples of people complaining about their Van Cleef being worn and having to send it back to the company, who will fix your jewelry for the extortionate price of $300 per lucky charm. But don't despair, because there are home remedies too, as this guy explains.
If you've ever thought about owning a Van Cleef like this is how you take care of it. You can always use olive oil. So what I would do is put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in olive oil for like 24 hours, and just let it do its magic.
Nice, olive oil, yeah, that makes sense. And listen guys, if you're ever in your kitchen seasoning your bracelet like you're in f***ing Ratatouille, then maybe you've missed the point of being rich. Having money is all about reducing stress in your life. If you're sweating bullets every time you leave the house because your bracelet is so soft that you might as well be wearing a stick of butter on your wrist, then you're doing something wrong. But look, that's why Van Cleef offers metal variations like yellow gold, white gold, rose gold. Obviously those are not going to have those same durability concerns, right? No, of course not. And that's where we get into today's controversy. So let's roll the clip.
Part 2 of the Van Cleef bracelet purchase. I called customer service yesterday just to let them know that this bracelet is still tarnished, even after I got it cleaned 2 times with the ultrasonic jewelry cleaner.
Okay, so this is what it's all about. It's kind of hard to tell from the video, but basically you can see that inner ring of browning, tarnishing, almost rusting happening on the motif. The original viral TikTok was even more hilarious and dramatic, so let me just show this to you. She doesn't know it yet, but this is where she found out that the bracelet isn't the only thing that lost its shine. So did her trust in the Van Cleef luxury brand and their service. Dude, come on. This is peak, people are dying, Kim.
Diamond earring came off in the ocean and it's gone. And there's people that are dying.
Okay, but theatrics aside, the problem is that Monica's bracelet has started tarnishing in 2 months. This isn't like something that she's had for years. And while it seems technically possible that her $6,000 bracelet could tarnish, it definitely shouldn't be. There must be something that went wrong at some point in the production process. Because for something that uses a couple of $100s in materials, you would expect Van Cleef to stand behind their craftsmanship for something that has like a 2,000% markup in terms of charging for the brand name. But if you expected that, you'd be wrong, because when Monica took her bracelet back to the store, they treated her to some gaslighting that I haven't seen since my last 2-month situationship.
There's no discoloration. That's your finger reflection in it.
Any better?
Because I didn't even, basically leave the store with it. And I'm like, what?
Did you put on perfume today?
No, I didn't put on any
lotion.
No, I have no lotion on me.
You didn't put anything on this like before you came here?
No.
The store manager said it was just a reflection, that there's no discoloration, accused her of putting on perfume or lotion that damaged it, literally in the hour that it took her to take it to the store. And again, can we get a jeweler in the comments section who can kind of explain what's going on here? Because in what universe should 18 karat gold tarnish that quickly? But yeah, not great customer service, fair to say. And the gaslighting is crazy. Monica even went to a jewelry store and got the bracelet tested to prove that it wasn't a dupe, it wasn't gold plated, which some people were leaving comments saying it was, but it was truly a genuine 18 karat Van Cleef bracelet that just tarnished. And so after her TikTok went viral, Van Cleef did reach out, tried to make things right with an exchange. Monica didn't even want a new bracelet at this point, and so she just took a refund. And what happened next was, to be honest, generational hating on the side of Van Cleef.
I'm honestly just as shocked as you guys are. I honestly was not expecting any gifts. They literally... This is honestly so funny. Now that I'm reading it, I don't know if they're sending this over to me to try to educate me on their Van Cleef pieces, because when I look at it, it's basically like the process, I think, of Van Cleef and how they make their jewelry.
They sent her an orchid and a book on the history of Van Cleef. That is the most passive-aggressive shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, yeah, take this book, put it on your coffee table, so every time you walk through your house, you remember who we are. Let us educate you with this book. We even put pictures in it, because we know reading is hard. And we almost had you, Monica. We would have gotten away with it too, if it wasn't for those meddling TikToks. I'm gonna use this strategy. I don't know when, maybe a breakup or something. Send whoever did me wrong a bouquet of flowers and a book of all my W's. And believe me, that book is long. I love it, guys. I love it. And apparently 2 wrongs do make a right, because I already forgot what Van Cleef did wrong. But look, I will say that Monica has been milking this thing for every piece of content it's worth, which more power to her. I hope she gets every dime she can out of this. But the incident happened a week ago, and she's still posting. It's like a 20+ part series at this point, still ongoing. And it's phenomenal brain rot, don't get me wrong, but it does make me question her motives just a little bit. The last episode that's up right now is her packing up gift box for her Cartier sales associate, since, you know, they know customer service, unlike Van Cleef, which is an insane thing to do. Like, I'm not gonna start tipping my landlord just because my last landlord sucked. And also, as you would remember from the beginning of this company, Cartier and Van Cleef are owned by the same company. So like, huh? She's making these TikToks telling people how much happier she is with her Cartier love bracelet over her Van Cleef bracelet. And I can just imagine the Richemont executives watching this being like, I bet. Again though, get your bag, Monica. I've had a great time over here on Rich Talk. And the great times don't end, because other people have been raising their hands with their own Van Cleef problems.
I also have this. They were bought very close to one another from the store, okay? In Dallas. This is very much not the same color. And also, it has the same tarnishing spots that hers has. Like, you can see one right there. You can see them kind of all over the place. So
here we can clearly see that Lauren has the same exact bracelet as Monica, but she also got the necklace to go with it. A necklace that appears to be oxidizing in front of our very eyes, because those two are not the same color anymore. Okay, so metallurgy Marc here again for you guys. What do I mean by oxidizing? Well, pure gold, aka 24 karat gold, will never tarnish or corrode, but it's rarely used in jewelry because of how soft pure gold is. So these Van Cleef pieces are 18 karat gold, which means they're 75% gold and 25% some other stuff. In this case, from the videos that Monica showed us at the jewelry store, we can see that they're 12.5% silver and 12.5% copper. So if I had to guess, and again, I'm guessing, I did not get to Geology 102, I can promise you that, it looks like the alloy in this piece is oxidizing. Maybe the alloy got goofed in the factory compared to this other piece. Maybe it's the way she stored the necklace versus the bracelet. Who knows? Again, if we have any jewelers out there in the world who want to weigh in, by all means. But we're just gonna have to wait and see the conclusion on this one, because Lauren sent in her necklace to get professionally cleaned, and we're gonna have to wait to see what the outcome is. Or I guess someone else is gonna have to wait and see, because I'm not following up on this. Oh, and I have to say, I love how Lauren chose to respond to the haters. Obviously, a lot of people out there being mean over how out of touch this jewelry discourse is. Someone said that her bed in the background looked cheap, so she decided to pop out and flex the price of her bed frame. This is the life that I dream of, guys. I want you to know that. This is what it's all about. Flexing your Crate and Barrel bed frame to nameless, faceless haters on the internet. This is gonna be me in 3 years. I swear to God, I'm just gonna be doing a money spread with my home furniture on camera. And look, there's probably like 100 other TikToks now at this point about people discussing both the good and bad of their experiences with Van Cleef, because that's always what happens when controversy occurs. All of a sudden, people start coming out of the woodwork with stories about a Van Cleef sales associate who cut them off in traffic in 1992. So let's just skip all that and talk about the real issues when it comes to the economic and political state of the world. First of all, Van Cleef obviously screwed up here. Who knows what the actual problems were in the production process that led to Monica's piece being screwed up? Was it a one-off defective item? I would assume. But for $6,000, you would also assume that the company would take care of you, right? I mean, just giving her a whole new bracelet from the get-go would have cost them max a few $100s. And we know Mr. Richemont ain't hard up for cash. But the particular sales team that Monica was dealing with didn't do that until she started going viral. And I think the simplest explanation as to why is that they didn't give a shit. People forget that these high-end jewelry companies make their big bucks through their big spenders. The people these sales associates want to have a relationship with is the person who's going to come back and take a $900,000 necklace off their hands. And if I had to psychoanalyze Kathy, who's the store manager that Monica dealt with, she just didn't give a shit about a customer who's coming in to buy the same trendy bracelet as the last 100 people and who's never going to buy anything else. And I'm not the only person saying this.
I know that they have an incredible customer service team when it comes to clients that are spending the big bucks. If they applied even a fraction of that level of customer service that they give to these VVIP clients to an everyday client, such as Monica, instead of giving her a passive aggressive book on how to make an Alhambra or...
Like since 2023, the average Van Cleef sales associate probably went from sipping coffee with multimillionaires and bullshitting about the history of the brand to servicing a revolving door of chronically online people and influencers who just want to buy the same bracelet over and over again. And they want to afterpay it too, I would assume. And I'm sure this virality has been great for Van Cleef. I mean, we know it is. They've been making more money than ever before. But the mystique of the brand and the pretentiousness of this particular store manager have been challenged in the process. And I think that's the tension we're seeing at play here. A brand that's going from being for the ultra rich to just the normal rich. But now that I'm done creating narratives about Kathy, let's create narratives about you, Van Cleef buyer, person who really wants this necklace. So I actually ran a highly scientific focus group in that I did a poll on my IG stories of my 200 followers. Granted, there's probably response bias at play here because all my followers are 400 IQ individuals, but putting that aside, the results are that 2/3 of people said that this Van Cleef Alhambra line has been played out. And that means 1/3 of you still like it, and that's totally fine. I'm just saying, let's challenge why you like this. Is it really the history of the brand? Is it really the uniqueness of the design? Is it really the craftsmanship? Because let me tell you, you could go down to your local jeweler and have them make whatever piece you want, and that'll be a piece that you can pass down to your children. You could even go and tell them to make you an Alhambra bracelet or necklace, and they will probably do it for 1/3 of the price of a Van Cleef one. I don't know what the ethics of doing that are, but I'm sure they'll do it. And it probably won't tarnish as easily either, because what are you even paying Van Cleef for at that point? Because it's certainly not a quality guarantee. Here's a story for you guys. I was on the metro about 2 weeks ago, and there was a bunch of college kids on there who were clearly headed to the airport to go on spring break. And one of the girls sitting down across from me had on a Van Cleef bracelet, a Cartier love bracelet, a Rimowa suitcase between her legs, and that green Goyard tote bag thing sitting on top of the suitcase. And I just thought to myself, like, that is the most chronically online collection of luxury goods I think I've ever seen in my life. You're wearing that Van Cleef thinking that you look like Grace Kelly, when really you just look like you spend 7 hours a day on TikTok.
She just looks so basic. That's her only problem. She looks like every other bitch. Like, am I wrong? She looks like every other bitch. Like,
sorry, I just had to throw Danielle in here. Again, if you really want this and you're gonna wear it for the next decade, then God bless. But I doubt that's the case for most people. And whenever you have an item that's reached peak saturation, the way this line has, I feel like you just assume it's fake anytime you see one in the wild. The Van Cleef Alhambra might be one of the most duped motifs in jewelry history. I mean, I already mentioned that viral TJ Maxx dupe.
This was $24, and it's reversible. One side's the diamonds with the opal, one side's the diamonds with the black.
There's also one at Nordstrom Rack. There's 1,000 different ones on Amazon. We have crossover from trendy and entered tacky territory. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. There are so many other options. Like if I had $4,000 burning a hole in my pocket, you know what you could go get? Go look at the Buccellati Opera line. Buccellati? I don't know. Just go look at it. It's really cool. It's got the same kind of genre as the Van Cleef, but it's ornate. It's the same price point. Also a Richemont company if you really love giving money to this specific corporation. And it's something different than what everybody else is wearing. You guys are missing the forest for the trees again. As always, you want everybody to know how expensive your stuff is, but you forgot about the nicest luxury of all. Having aura. When the people around you look at what you've got on and they're like, damn, where did you get that from? That's when you know you have aura that can't be bought. And that aura is available to you at any price point. Why are we trying to inject the social media micro trend cycle into jewelry, which is supposed to be like the most timeless aspect of fashion? It's silly. Think about pieces that you'd want to give your grandkids, not pieces you want to show to Instagram. So look, if you want to spend $6,000 to get a trendy but tarnishing bracelet, then head on over to Van Cleef and they'll even throw in a side of gaslighting for free. But if you want both the bracelet and the gaslighting for free, then come on a date with me and I'll take you to TJ Maxx.